Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, we will focus on matrix. Before we start, I want to talk about some background of matrix. So, a scalar is a number. For example, 2 is a scalar, right? A matrix is an array of numbers. Here is an example of matrix. A matrix with m rows and n columns is called m by n matrix. So for this example, this is a 2 by 2 matrix as we have 2 rows and 2 columns. For a matrix, each row is separated by a semicolon. That's what I am doing here. A one-dimensional matrix is called a vector. As you can see, vector has only got one row, right? Vectors and matrices are represented as arrays in MATLAB. Vector is a 1D array. Accessing arrays, we can access an element in the array using the following code. Say we have an array of temperatures. Each value in the bracket is a temperature. Okay, we can store the fourth temperature into a separate variable by doing this. So this line of code means that today's temperature is 58 Celsius degree. We can print this on the screen in two ways. Once we run, we can see both lines give the same value on the screen. Similarly, we can access a matrix. To access a matrix, we need to give the row number first, then the column number. Say we have this matrix, and I want to store 14 into a separate variable. This to number stands for the location of 14 in the matrix, as 14 is located at row 1 and column 2. We can print this number on the screen to see if we store 14 into the variable. Right? That's that. We can also print another element of the matrix. Say I want to print the first element of the matrix on the screen. That's 1 in this case. I can do this. So this line of code means that display the elements of the matrix which located at row 1 and column 1 on the screen. As we run, we can see 1 is printed on the screen. Changing a value. We can change a value in an array. Say we have an array of marks. We want to change the second mark to 50. That's what I'm doing here. So 2 is the index, the position where you want to make change. If we print the array, we can see the second mark is changed to 50. Right. Adding a value, we can add a value in an array. If we insert into an index that is longer than the array will grow. That's getting longer, and zeros will fill the holes. Index means the position of an element in an array. For example, we have an array which stores many temperatures, and I want to put an extra temperature into index 8. As you can see, the array only contains 5 elements. If I add one more value in it, it's actually getting longer. Let's add a value into index 8. The number in the brackets is the index, is the position of my new value in the array. Well, 54 is the number I want to add in the array. So now we can print the array on the screen. Now you can see the array is longer. Zeros fill the holes, and 54 is the 8th number in the array. Removing a value. If an element is removed from an array, the elements that were at higher indices will move to lower indices. For example, I want to remove the third element, 49, from the array. Once I run, you can see that's what you need to do. Just use an empty bracket. You can see 49 is removed, and you can see the elements that were on the right of the 49 is now moved one step to the left, and the array is shorter as it only contains 4 elements now. Create arrays. We can create arrays using column. Say we want to create an array of integers from 1 to 5. We can do something like this. Array 1 equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? You can see that's what I want, but there is an easier way. Right? 1 is the starting number and 5 is the last number you want in your array, each time going up by 1. You can see they both line of code give the same result. This is actually same as array 3 equals to 1, 1, 5. The middle number control how much you want to increase or decrease each time. For example, I want to create an array which starting from 3 and increasing by 3 up to and including the last value 9. I can do something like this. Right? Say if you want to decrease by 3 rather than increase by 3, you can just change the middle value to -3. Right? Nothing is displayed as we can't start decreasing from a small number to a bigger number. We should do it another way around. Change the position of the start number and end number, like 3 and 9. Right, now you can see the value is decreasing. Furthermore, we can create an empty array by doing this. You can see nothing is displayed on the screen, but you can see that from the workspace that the array is empty. Nothing is in between the brackets. That's the same thing. If we do array equals to an empty bracket, same result. Okay, let's talk about some functions that you may need when you create arrays. Zero function. This function is used to create a matrix that only contains zeros. Here is an example. So the number in the brackets here tell the dimensions of the zero matrix. The first number is the number of rows. The second number is the column's number. In this case, I'm creating a zero matrix with 2 rows and 3 columns. That's that. Similarly, there is a ones function which creates a matrix that only contains 1. Here is the example. Linspace function. This function is used to create an array that contains values that are equal distance spaced apart. Let me explain the code first. The first number is the starting number, the second number is the ending number, and 6 is the number of elements contained in the array. We can see 0 is the first number and 10 is the last number, and this array only contains 6 elements. That's how you use this linspace function. Length function. Okay, to find the number of elements in an array, we can use length function. So what you need to do is just put the array's name into the length function bracket. exactly what I did here. You can run and you see that's exactly the number of elements in the temp array. For a matrix, we have more than one rows, so instead of using length function, we use size function. That's how we use this function. So here is a matrix, and we just need to put the name of the matrix into the bracket of the size function, exactly the same as how you use the length function. Well, then you can find out the dimension of your matrix. The first number is the rows number. You only got 3 rows, right? And you have 2 columns on each row. Just remember this line of code. That is very important. Okay, the last function I want to mention in this video is the isempty function. You can use this function to check if your array or matrix is empty or not. You can use this function with if statement. Here is an example. So temp is my matrix, right? If the matrix is empty, MATLAB will print empty on the screen. Otherwise, not empty will be printed on the screen. You can see empty is printed as my matrix is empty. Now if I add a value into my matrix and run again, you can see the result has changed. So that's how you use isempty function. And that's all for today's video. If you think this video is useful, smash the like button and subscribe down below. I will upload more MATLAB video.